This is a squat and deadlift session at Super Training. We did a little bit of good mornings before this, working up. I worked up to a heavy set of 5. David Baffis worked up to a heavy triple, I believe. And we're doing some rack pulls here against some bands. This is extremely good exercise for your grip and for your lockout. This is Greg Buffington, who's kind of recently starting to hit his stride, multi-ply gear. He's doing some reverse band work. His best squat in a meet, I believe, is around 722, and on this day, 744. And on this day, I believe he worked up to around 770, 775, or maybe even 780. Greg's really good at throwing his knees out. You can see how he got his knees out there, and he does a good job keeping a good upright position. So on that day, he basically killed most of his squats on that day. What we're trying to do when we do a reverse band squat, basically just get an overload. We're not too concerned about depth. We're not too concerned about much of anything other than just getting a good overload and trying to have the best form we can have. That's 275 pounds of bar weight. But like I said earlier, those bands are a bitch. They're really pulling on you like crazy. It makes that exercise really difficult. And on that exercise, I believe we did around 6 or 8 sets of 3 reps. This is Robot. Robot is very mechanically sound, but we got to work a little bit on his strength in the squat. Got a pretty good deadlift. See, he's real flexible through the hips. He's really able to force his knees out real well. But he's just missing a little bit of that brute strength that you need to kind of carry you through some of those lifts. Sometimes when you're real flexible like that, you're so efficient at getting the depth that you almost don't even utilize your gear a whole lot. So he might need to get newer gear or tighter gear. These are done for speed. They're done for explosive power. Trying to have short rest periods. David was kind of kicking my ass on that day, and he was able to go back and forth pretty quickly, but my back was pretty tight because I'm so fat. Here's Treston Scholl. Good squatter. He's going to go up over 1,000 pounds next meet, no question. He's kind of coming off a little bit of a groin injury, so he's testing things out. This is Austin Baumgarten. He's getting ready for a meet coming up. He's hit around a 650 squat in competition before and kind of lost his mojo on the squat, but now he's heading back in the right direction. This is Casey, one of our newer lifters.
The worst squat ever.
Yeah, doing some crazy squat form, getting a little forward on the knees. Casey is fairly tall, but on top of being tall, he just has really long limbs. And so his ectomorph squats look a little funny. Look a little funky at times. But he's getting stronger. He'll be able to fix that up in the next couple months. Here's Greg. I think this is maybe his last attempt. You see how he starts down as quickly as he can. SPF, there's no squat command. So why not take advantage of that, lock the knees, and just go for it. If you stand at the top with the weights for too long, it just builds up more and more pressure in your head, and you'll blow your giant fat face out. Here's Robot again. Still working on technique, trying to work with the heavier weights. And you can see he's uncomfortable at the bottom, so he's kind of cutting him just a little bit. Cutting him a little earlier than he should. He's extremely uncomfortable with the gear on. When he squats in just briefs, he's got perfect form. He's got really good box squat form. Treston was able to work up and get some good work in on that day. I believe he went up to around 650 or so. And that's the most he's handled in a while. Like I said, he's coming off an injury. Here's Robot again. This guy works out really, really hard. He's always on time, working his ass off, doing all the assistance and all the stuff necessary to get stronger. So there you go. You kind of clean that squat up a little bit. I think we had him maybe go back down and weight a little bit, or maybe that was the same weight actually. And there I am changing the board, changing some of the numbers. I'm going to have to knock efforting off there. You see above. Let's see how dyslexic I am. I start writing like halfway through. It's kind of retarded, but it's just the way it is. It's just what I'm working with. Yeah, see, there's efforting. Efforting's going down. 793 just can't be there for very long. Unfortunately, Stan is competing in a meet that we have here at Super Training May 22nd, or is it May 15th? May 15th. I just made up another meet. May 15th, we have a meet here at Super Training. Stan's competing in it raw, so he might blow that 793 out of the water. So I might end up having to deadlift even more to beat him. Here's Robot again, working on that form, working on that technique. You see, he's real strict with his form. His posture is real good, but he just doesn't have the right sensations to come up out of the hole.